Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of DLB TV. I am your host, DLB, and in this week's episode, we're talking about the PlayStation 4. Yes, Sony finally announced it, and man, let me start off by saying this. I think by far that was the best event that they've ever held for any PlayStation in the history of the PlayStation brand. I feel they hit on all the key points. They showed the controller, which looked great. But we're going to get into all of that right now. You guys are tuned into DLB TV. So again, Sony finally announced their console, and man, it was awesome. A lot of people are upset because they didn't show the console, but again, what people have to realize is this was just an announcement. They have to save something for E3. They couldn't give you everything they have. So let's go ahead and go over the conference and some of those tidbits that came out after the conference was over. So we're going to start it off. One of the key points at the event that just set the tone for me was when they stated the living room isn't our main focus, the gamer is. That was huge. Now, while I feel that, what they were saying was true, again, we do have to realize that Sony is an entertainment company, so for that specific time, the focus was all about the gamer. But I mean, Sony's pushing 4K, they're pushing 4K televisions. They've stated that the PlayStation 4 will push out 4K content, but games won't be pushed out in 4K, which is totally understandable. But with them saying that line, that the fact that they will be pushing out 4K, think about it. There's no 4K content right now. There's nothing pushing out 4K content. And Sony is actually coming out with the little box that you'll be able to buy with your 4K television that will actually push out 4K content to your TV. Now, seeing that the PlayStation 3 is going to be doing that as well, and I figure it's going to be doing that, again, because they stated it will push out 4K content excluding games. So you better believe they're going to be promoting the PlayStation 4. Excuse me, if I'm saying 3, forgive me. But you better believe they're going to be pushing the PlayStation 4 as a 4K content hub for those people who may not be big on gaming, but they need something to push out 4K content to their television. The same exact thing what they did with the PlayStation 3 with Blu-ray. You may have not been a gamer, but they promoted Blu-ray to you so you could buy it as a Blu-ray player. They said it was the cheapest Blu-ray player on the market. You guys know the drill. So I think that's going to be the same thing this time around. So again, those keywords was very telling for that event, though. They said our main focus is not the living room, but the gamer. But again, at the same time, Sony is an entertainment company, so while it sounded great, and they caught me with it, again, I understand they're an entertainment company, so there's definitely going to be their forms of entertainment there. I like how they had 5 specific key points that they focused on when building the PlayStation 4 platform, which was simple, immediate, social, personalized, and integrated. I think all of those are key in the gaming industry, especially right now. Personalized from your profile to setting the system settings to adapt to how you want your system to adapt to you, from the PlayStation Store, understanding your likes and your dislikes, and they're saying, eventually it'll be so smart to where to already download a game for you based on your preferences. I'm curious how that's actually going to work because somebody like me, I'll download a game just to try it out, but I may not necessarily like it, and then I'll go ahead and trash it, get rid of it, such as a demo, nothing that I would pay for. Another key thing that was announced after the fact was that the PlayStation Eye 2 and a headset will come packed in the PlayStation, will come with the PlayStation console in the box. So that's a real key feature. I definitely am happy that they went that route, because me being a PlayStation and 360 owner, I've seen the amount of people that talk on the Xbox compared to the amount of people that talk on the PlayStation 3, and the reason being is because every Xbox comes with a headset, every PlayStation 3 does not. So I think that was key, because Sony's main focus in the beginning of the conference was social gaming and connectivity with your friends. And so with that being said, you can't talk about the socialness of the PlayStation Network and being able to contact and talk and be able to play with your friends without being able to communicate. That's the biggest form of social networking, is being able to communicate with your friends. And on the PlayStation side of things, it's more so through voice than it is through text. So I think that's huge, the fact that they're actually including a mic with the system itself, and the fact that they're including the camera as well. That definitely tells you that it's going to be very Kinect-ish, where you'll be able to use voice communication. It'll be tracking your depth. You see the little light bar on the controller to be able to track the controller as well. So we'll get to the controller in a little bit. Another thing were the games. Oh my goodness, those games looked awesome. Watch Dogs looks great. That's supposed to be a launch title. Killzone looked awesome. I mean, when does Killzone not look awesome, to be honest with you? But I'm actually happy to see them take it to a new environment. And keep in mind, take notice to the fact that there's no numerical number by any of the games that they showed from their studios. Killzone, no numerical number. Infamous, no numerical number. And the reason I feel they're doing this is it's like a relaunch of a series. So they don't, while everybody will know it as the next iteration of Killzone, the fact that they took the numbers off of the franchise is kind of like a reboot to the franchise, so they can keep it fresh, keep it going, tell a new story, add new characters, things of that nature. So they showed off Killzone, which looked great. The Infamous, I'm a huge fan of the Infamous, can't wait for that. The Witness, which is the guys behind Braid, is a timed exclusive, which is also big for Sony, because it shows their aggressiveness. Destiny, they got timed exclusivity for that. Or actually, they didn't say time, they said exclusive content. But either way, that's huge for Sony because they're becoming more aggressive, which they need to be, because Microsoft has been very aggressive this generation, and Sony definitely needs to follow suit this next generation, because it's going to be big. It shows your gamers, it shows the gaming community that you are doing your best to bring them the best experience possible in gaming. So I think that's huge. Now, will it be something that's going to make people buy a PlayStation console? Maybe, but to me it's more so for the gamers that are already there. You're basically letting them know, hey, we see you, we're going to make sure that we bring you the best content possible. So I really feel that that was a strong and very telling point from Sony to announce exclusivity on those two games. Now granted, Destiny is by Bungie. Bungie has a huge, long relationship with Microsoft. So people would be sadly mistaken if they think Microsoft's not going to get some kind of exclusive love of their own. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. Next step was the bottom of the PlayStation controller. Let's go ahead and talk about the controller. It looks great. The DualShock looks good, has a touchpad in the middle, it has a share button and an option button. There's no start button, no select button. The D-pad, the face buttons, the R2 and L2 look great. They're finally triggers. The console looks like it's going to feel awesome. I like the two-tone to it. The bottom part of it looks like very rubbery or mesh. It feels like it's going to feel great in the hands. Has move technology built inside of it, 6-axis, gyros. They put in the works inside of this controller. I'm curious as to how much this thing is going to cost, because a PlayStation controller right now costs $54. So how much is this thing going to cost? Especially the fact that it has move technology built inside of it, a touch screen. I mean, the controller looks great, but more importantly, at the bottom of the controller, you can actually see what looks to be a headphone jack and another little plug-in at the bottom of it. And so what I'm thinking is that just like with the Xbox 360, there's that keyboard at the bottom. I'm assuming Sony's going to do the same thing as far as additional accessories, having a keyboard to go at the bottom of it, because they did it with the keyboard at the top and I wasn't a big fan of that. So I hope that that's what it is. They're going to put the keyboard at the bottom now, and then below that you'll be able to plug your headset into that, because that's going to be awesome. That's going to be quicker, because there definitely needs to be a quicker way to text something out to your friends than using the on-screen keyboard, and I don't really think that touchscreen is going to help, or the touchpad is going to help speed that up. So I'm happy that they're going in that direction. But also for all us original PSP owners, it looks exactly like the same plugin from the original PSP. So all of you guys who still have your original PSPs, maybe go online and try and find a picture of it. They look very similar. Downloadable games. One of the huge announcements that just knocked me off my feet, we see it in PC gaming now, but is the fact that you'll be able to start downloading a game, and after a couple of minutes after it downloading, you'll actually be able to begin playing it while it's still downloading. That is huge, ladies and gentlemen, because we were all trying to figure out these PlayStation 4 games are going to be a lot larger than the PlayStation 3 games. So we're like, we're going to be spending days trying to download these massive games, but they figured out a way around that. It's like, yeah, these games are going to be large in scale, but you'll be able to start playing them as they're downloading. And to me, that's huge. Now, I still want to see how this actually works out, because, you know, some people have slower internet connections than others. So, I mean, do you have to wait longer? Like, how is this all going to play? Is only a certain piece of the game going to be available, or is the whole game going to be available to you as it's still downloading in the background? Either way, that's an awesome feature. That means system updates should download in the background. If the PlayStation Store stays an app like it is now, things like that should download in the background. So that's going to be awesome. The Gaikai services is going to be great. I mean, being able to go into the store and eventually on a demo, instead of having to download it, you'll just hit play now and then it just instantly start playing. That is going to be huge. Well, that's all for this video, everybody. Head over to part 2. And I'll finish telling you guys the rest of the story and giving you my opinions on the PlayStation 4 and its announcement. Peace.